deep, resonant, and sorrowful voice begins, I see all. Every shadow that dances in the hearts of humanity, every whisper of deceit, every act performed under the cloak of righteousness. I have watched as my name was twisted, used as a shield for greed and a sword for power. I have wept as the shepherds led my flock astray, not to green pastures, but into the barren wastes of their own vanity. The scent of hypocrisy rises like a foul smoke, a stench that has reached the heavens. For too long, the wolves have worn the fleece, and the innocent have been their feast. A young woman's gentle, trembling voice speaks, Lord, I confess, I was lost. I followed blindly, believing the words of those who claimed to speak for you. They preached piety, but practiced avarice. They spoke of love, but nurtured division. I see them now, for what they are. In their grand halls and gilded chambers, they feasted while the hungry cried out. They promised salvation for a price, selling your grace like common market goods. I was a part of it, Lord. I offered my coins, my time, my belief, to hollow idols of flesh and cloth. Forgive my ignorance. My heart knew something was wrong, but I was afraid to listen. The deep, authoritative voice returns, filled with a righteous sorrow. Fear not, my child. The truly repentant heart is a treasure I have always sought. But for those who have profaned my house, who have turned my sanctuary into a den of thieves, their time of accounting has come. Look, see the one who called himself the highest authority on earth, who wore crowns of gold, but whose soul was leaden with sin. He built his throne on the backs of the poor and whispered heresies in the ears of kings. He now learns the weight of true judgment. And see the other, the pastor who charmed his congregation with honeyed words while his hands were deep in the offering plates. His private life was a mockery of the virtues he preached from the pulpit. He now reaps the harvest he has sown. Their robes and titles are dust, but earthly power, a fleeting dream from which they have been violently awakened. I did not ask for grand cathedrals or political influence. I asked for love. I asked for mercy. I asked for justice for the oppressed and comfort for the brokenhearted. They gave me spectacle and corruption instead. Judgment is not an act of anger, but of clarity. It is the final, undeniable revealing of truth. Let this be a lesson to all who would dare to wear my name as a mask. The Lord is not mocked, Seal, and I will not be silent forever. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more reflections on faith and truth. Stay blessed. Souls in hell for pornography. Above the river of fire. I saw TV sets, phones, tablets, and all kinds of electronic apparatus. The Lord said, these souls were attached to pornographic movies. They were watching pornography on TVs, phones, tablets, and all these electronic devices, which were shouting justice above the river. These apparatus were condemning them. These phones that they were using may have broken down, but in hell, they will shout justice, for they are the ones who have stained these devices. I saw TVs and phones floating and claiming justice. The more these apparatus were claiming justice, the more these huge chains were binding these souls that were damned. I saw that these chains were rising higher to the surface. The Lord said, these chains were rising to earth. When those who watch pornography die in their sin, this chain would bind them on the neck, pulling them beneath the sea of lava. Brother, I always feel pain when people in funerals say to their deceased loved one, rest in peace, for many are not going to the place of peace and rest. When the rich man died, the Bible says his soul went to the place of torment, and the majority of the dead are going to the place of torment. But people keep saying, may your soul rest in peace. I saw people confessing and demanding mercy in the place of torment, but it was too late for them. There were millions of souls in the lava and in chains because of pornography. They were stuck in the depth of lava. They could not even float above the sea. They were deep down, and we descended. I saw that these chains were bigger than humans. These chains were suffocating them tightly. Souls in hell for having a woman-to-woman relationship and man-to-man relationship. I saw a place that was a huge pit, and inside that pit, there were people, and they were in the flames. They were like dizzy, running in all directions, seeking escape from the fire, and they were crying. I saw that these people were holding their private parts. Actually, I saw that snakes were coming out of their private parts. These snakes were moving all over their bodies, entering their eyes, moving to the belly, and coming out in their sexual part. I saw all kinds of demons above the pit, and they were mocking and laughing at these lost souls. Jesus said, "These are women who had relationship and sex with other females. These men here are the ones that were sexual immoral with other males, okay? Their fingers and sex organs were replaced with snakes." Among these people, I saw a national politician. This politician was entering in sexual relationship with other men that were working in his cabinet. In order to work in his government department, they must accept to sleep with him. I saw that his genital organ has turned to a snake that was biting him. I saw another politician who was killed by the president. He was an opponent, and he was hanged and executed because he opposed the dictatorial regime of the late President Mobutu. But he was also in sexual relationship with other men when he died in that political execution. To my surprise, brother, I saw the former President Mobutu himself in this place of the sexual immoral chamber. Our late President Mobutu was a man who behaved like a king in the country. This man caused chaos in the country. He liked glory and authority because he thought he was a god. I saw that the former president was tormented by men who were here. These men said to him, "You are the one who brought us here, and we are lost because of you." I saw that these men were biting the late president in his genital part, accusing him of being the cause of their torment. I said, "Lord, even our president is in this place of sexual immorals." The Lord said, "This was the lifestyle he chose when he was on the earth. He was sleeping with women and men. All the men he slept with are here. They were assembled before him, and they were accusing him, and they were biting his private part." I saw that in hell, that was what is called the place of entertainment. Brother, if you had killed a man and caused a woman to fall in hell, you will be brought to the place of entertainment so that the people you brought to hell can torture you. Anyone who came to hell because of you will torture you in hell because you are the reason for which he fell in hell. Have you ever wondered what happens after the final breath? What if judgment isn't a gate of pearls, but a silent, endless shore? I found myself there once, a place beyond time, where the sand was gray ash and the sky was a bruised, starless twilight. Before me stood a figure, not of flesh and bone, but woven from the very fabric of light. It was majestic, terrifying, and it spoke without a mouth, its voice echoing not in my ears, but in the deepest pit of my soul. It called itself the Lord of this desolate coast, the arbiter of echoes, the keeper of final regrets. It showed me others, figures scattered across the shore, trapped in loops of their most profound failures. There was a woman, her clothes like burnt rags, forever reaching for a child's hand that would vanish into smoke just as she touched it. Her screams were silent, yet I felt them tear through me. Her sin, a moment of distraction, a pot left on the stove, a life lost to a simple mistake. Now, her eternity was that single, horrifying moment, replayed without end. Then I saw a man, his face a mask of perpetual shock. He was forever reliving the instant his car slid on black ice, the world spinning into a collision that took a stranger's life. He hadn't been drinking, he wasn't speeding, it was just fate, a cruel twist of physics. But here, on this shore of sorrows, intent meant nothing. Only the consequence mattered. His punishment was to feel the impact, the shattering glass, the sudden silence, over and over and over. The Lord of Light turned its faceless gaze upon me. Every soul crafts its own eternity. The voice boomed within me. This is not a hell of fire, but a prison of memory. A place where you are judged not by a grand design, but but by the single, heaviest weight upon your own heart. I looked at my hands, wondering what moment, what single act of selfishness or neglect would become my shore. My endless, repeating nightmare made me realize the truest horror isn't a demon with horns, but the ghost of our own past we can never escape. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, please consider liking and subscribing for more journeys into the shadows. Stay safe and cherish the moments you have.